What's going on, Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe and we are going to talk about the Quanta today in this build video, if you will. Okay, I'm going to do this one a little bit different because I've got this set up in three totally different builds. This weapon is one of those weapons that you can pretty much build this anyway, and it is an effective weapon. It will dominate the playing field, if you will. You can use it on any frame and this thing will work. I've gone 3 forma into this weapon to make this, and in actuality I had about 4 or 5 different builds in the process of narrowing it down to just these 3. This is the first time I've ever run a 3 different setup, if you will, A, B, and C configuration, but you can utilize any of them at any time. It is that powerful, as you will see as we go through this. So let's get right down dirty with it, right? So the basics of this, and this Quanta is 10 times more powerful than the Mutilus Quanta is. So I really wish they would fix that Mutilus Quanta just a tiny bit, so that way it would be more effective. The electricity base is 220. The accuracy is 100%. Fire rate is 1. Critical is 2 times 10%. Status is 10% per second. Magazine is 60. Reload is 2, and it's a held trigger. Now you've got your main fire, we know, is electricity. Your alternate fire, or your right click if you are on the PC, is a blast bubble, if you will. So you shoot out the bubble. If an enemy hits the bubble, it blows up and explodes and causes blast damage. If you shoot the bubble and you explode the bubble, it will cause blast damage as well, but it will cause more blast damage with a bigger area of effect, so it's more effective for you to kill it and shoot it before the enemies hit it, but either way it is effective. So keep that in mind. You're always going to have that no matter how you run this weapon, making it pretty versatile, so you can always have multiple setups in here. So let's talk about where the basic cards are. That will be on all 3 configurations, and I'll show you all 3 configurations towards the end. So the first one in the D aura slot that comes with this weapon is going to be cryo rounds for me. At all times, going to give me a 90% freeze damage on here to allow one of my element setups. The second one that I used in a V slot that I created is going to be Serration, giving me 165% base damage increase over everything. Then we're going to have Split Chamber with a 90% multi-shot. Excuse me, multi-shot, you will see a lot of times that double cubes will shoot out close to each other. It still works pretty well, especially if you do shoot it. It'll give you that bigger area of effect, as we said, with the blast damage. And then next to that, I'm going to have Heavy Caliber at all times. So it's another 135% base damage. Though we're going to lose accuracy, it doesn't really matter, as you can tell. At this point, 45% accuracy, it's still pretty much in the same spot. So there's no loss in using Heavy Caliber. There'd actually be no loss in using Heavy Caliber if you maxed it out either. To be honest, the range is still very tight in that terms. Now, then I go ahead and I do add in all of my different elements, elemental cards. So we've already got the cryo rounds in here. All the builds are going to have the different element cards. So we're going to have Malignant Force, which is also going to be my status chance cards. So that's going to give me my extra poison damage and status chance. We're going to have a high voltage in all of them, which will be the electricity and status chance. If you don't have this, obviously you can get like one of the regular electricity mods, put it in until you can get access to the high voltage. And then we're going to also have thermite rounds in here as well. And all of these status cards will give me a 46% status chance across the board, which is more than enough. It's just about 50%, so you can be able to proc pretty much, we'll say, half the time. But the way that the weapon shoots and fires, it's pretty much going to be almost all the time to that effect, based off of the way it shoots, just the way I've seen it. Now, in terms of alternates, the last slot, if you will, on the builds I will have either critical delay in there, giving me a 48% higher critical chance, but a 36% lower fire rate, and I'm mainly going for the fire rate on this. And or I will have an infected clip in here, giving me a extra 90% poison damage on top of what I already have. Okay, so those are basically all the cards in there. Now, how I've got this set up that I'm talking about, in one configuration, if you will, on my setup here, this will be my config A, you will see that the layout is going to give me additional blast damage of 2,508, additional corrosive damage of 3,678, I should say, along with the alternate fire of the blast as well. So this one becomes really, really powerful and a very good gun in config A. It will allow me to have the knockdown and armor reduction based off the proccing. Now in config B, you will see that I've got a gas of 3,511 and a magnetic of 4,180. Pretty much dominating in this category as well in terms of the setup. And this is going to give me the toxin AoE and a negative max shields. And that's going to be really effective against the Corpus. And the way this is set up is these are pretty much going to allow you to run in any setup across the board, in my opinion. Based on the way I've played it, I've been able to run it across the board. And then finally, the last one in config C is going to be a radiation and viral. It's going to give me 3,678 radiation and 2,508 viral in this case. So basically the same numbers as the blast and corrosive, but just a different setup of element combos. Again, like I said, across the board we're getting 46% status chance, so that works very well. And the radiation is going to give me the negative accuracy and the friendly fire, basically like a mini chaos, if you will. So you want to use that against the higher levels. And then you've got a negative health, max health. So that's the way I've got it set up. The critical build did not work out so well for me. I tried, just didn't work. So if you have any questions, please do feel free to leave comments below. If you like this, hit that like button for me. Excuse me. If you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, please do hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.